Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Buko Boys. Hey everybody, I'm Dale.
And I'm DVO.
The quiet one.
The quiet one.
So, I got everything working right this time. I kind of effed up.
Golly.
I kind of effed
Embarrassing.
up. I embarrassed myself. Totally embarrassed. I had to do a little disclaimer last episode to let everyone know I goofed.
Oh, well, you're a big goof.
I am a big goof, but that's why people love me.
Well, thanks for tuning in again, everybody.
How was your week?
My week, well, I'm glad my wife is back. She's been MIA for 3.5 weeks. She's been traveling in Mexico. I've been a single dad for 3.5 weeks, juggling a teenager, a baby, and multiple businesses, and 3 podcasts. Have been.
We're back and doing podcasts finally.
Yeah, it's been a little difficult. So I'm glad she's back. I started carrying her load around.
Yeah, pick up your slack.
Jeez. So that's what my week's been like. She actually just came back last night, and I'm so grateful. Luckily, our mom is awesome, and she's been helping me out.
Of course she is. She's helped me out a ton.
And how about your week, brother?
This week flew by so fast. Next thing I know, it's already the end of the week.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy. But nothing really exciting for me.
Yeah, nothing.
I think
exciting.
Pretty much forgot to Snapchat today.
That's how busy you were.
So yeah,
I forgot it. What do they call it? A snap?
Yeah, I think so. Snapping.
Snapping away.
I call
Tweeting
it
away.
snapping.
Oh, and then last Sunday we were watching this little show about the Cecil Hotel.
Oh yeah. I've been watching that. Well, I've heard about that story when it first came out with
Lisa Lam.
Yeah.
The Canadian of Chinese descent that went to LA at the Cecil Hotel, and you should watch this episode, or this. It's a 4-part series documentary, and we're gonna talk more about it on our other podcast, the EVP podcast, but a little more detail about it. But it's pretty interesting. If you guys remember seeing this, maybe 5. How old is this story?
2000. What was it? 2000 and.
So it's a little bit. Yeah, it's about 3 to 6 years old.
Yeah.
Something like that. And anyway, if you guys don't remember, there's this elevator video, and it seems like she's kind of walking out. She's maybe talking to somebody, and she looks like she's scared inside the elevator, and then she gets found in a. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should say it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was gonna say it, but.
Well, yeah, it's not like it's a surprise.
If you haven't known the story, then it is. But it's pretty interesting series. It's a 4-part series.
I remember when that story first started circulating around the internet.
Yeah,
I was so freaked out about it.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Well, I'll talk about how I feel now and the other podcast.
Yeah, so check that one out. For me, episode 3 was the craziest out of the 4. I think it was called The Rabbit Hole. And that was a pretty crazy episode.
I kind of rewatched some of that, but I keep, I'll be watching it and then coming in and out of the room. I got so much going on, it's hard to, sit still and watch for a solid amount of time.
It really is. So, first story I want to talk about is in Utah. The lieutenant governor has just signed a bill that starting in May of 2021, that Utah residents do not, 21 and over, do not need a conceal permit to conceal a firearm. To conceal carry a firearm. Already, you can open carry in Utah. That's totally legal to open carry. Obviously, you might get harassed about it. So most people don't open carry.
I see some people that do, and I don't mind. It's weird. Some of the people that open carry are kind of, I don't know. They seem like they've been picked on enough in their life. Maybe they just had enough shit.
But they might snap.
Yeah.
Ooh, scary.
I don't know. Some of them, they go out of your way to say, I don't know. They seem extra creepy. They go try to say hi to you.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know. It's off. It's kind of off when I've encountered people who open carry.
Yeah. And I don't run across it much at all.
Yeah, it's not common. But the ones that do, it's just something strange about him.
Yes.
I don't know how to pin. Something's not right. Something isn't. I get a weird vibe.
That people that open carry.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there might be some people that open carry that are A-okay, but from what I've seen, something ain't clicking quite right.
That is a good observation. I know exactly what you mean when I think about people that I've seen.
It's a total stereotype. That hasn't been it's not as popular of a stereotype. Maybe it will be now.
Right.
Pay attention, everybody.
So it'll be interesting. I guess the theory is it will help maybe people that are suicidal. I was kind of saw that, and I can't remember the other theory they had about the whole open carry.
What do you mean about the soup?
I'm sorry, concealed carry without a permit.
I like the idea myself.
And why is that?
Well, I think everything would be safer if everyone was packing heat at all times. I think less people would try to do stupid shit if everyone knew that somebody potentially is carrying something that can end their life if they do something stupid.
So I've had my concealed permit since I was 21. That's the age. So since I've been 21, half my life I've had a concealed weapon permit, and I've had to reach for it. I don't know how much detail I'm talking about that, but anyway, I've had to reach for it a couple of times. And to get a concealed weapon permit, you have to go through a course. Now, when I took the course, you also had to take a shooting test. The purpose of the shooting test is, great, you can protect yourself with a firearm, but do you know how to use a firearm? Because the last thing you want to do is miss your target and hit an innocent bystander.
Mm-hmm.
And soon after I got my concealed permit, they got away with the shooting test. And for me, I don't know, I think that's one of the more important things, in my opinion.
I would like to see more gun safety or gun control where they're just education, that's it, just gun education.
Yeah.
So, say new time gun owners, I mean, they could see that because they run a background check.
Sure.
They can see if you're a first time gun owner. So maybe for these first time gun owners, maybe before they are able to purchase, I don't know, maybe I'd like to see some kind of education be done for them first. I don't know. I know it'd be expensive, or I don't know how they would do it.
I mean,
it would be really hard to try to regulate something like that.
Because we talked on this episode when my wife took her course, right? We talked about that. My wife went and took her course, and she got her concealed weapon permit, and she still doesn't know how to shoot a gun. but we're going to take her to the range and keep practicing, so she feels comfortable with it. And I think that's important. So I'm really on the fence about this. I'm okay with responsible people concealed carrying. I'm totally okay with that. But I guess what constitutes for me, a responsible person.
Yeah, it's scary knowing if there's a lot of unresponsible people not educated on these weapons, and they're just walking around with them now.
And they get, any little thing they get fidgety about, and they draw their weapon. So I mean, for me, I do like the course. I kind of like people taking that course of, it's just some basic gun safety. Like, the course is pretty simple. It's just some basic gun safety, basic functionings of a gun, and the laws. And my wife didn't have to do this either, because she just got it in 2020, and I got mine in 2011, 2012.
No,
2002. Yeah, 2002. Gosh, don't age me on this podcast.
Well, you're just doing it to yourself.
Just roll with it.
Yeah.
So I've had mine.
Forgetting things over here.
Math. But anyway, yeah. So I've had mine. I had to take the gun or the shooting test. I think it's a good idea, because you don't want to hit an innocent bystander. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that. Yeah. You don't want to protect yourself and then commit murder trying to protect yourself.
Catch a case on top of. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you just got caught a murder case and you're trying to protect yourself, rightfully so.
Yeah, so I think I like the idea of this. I think more people need to be educated on it. But one thing that I did like was that when it comes to having a concealed carry in Utah, you can't have that and have a medical marijuana card on top of that.
Okay.
Because Utah likes to micromanage everything. So a lot of states are like that actually because it's a federal thing and blah blah blah. But now with it being a-okay for everybody over 21, then that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, so what the law is you cannot be inebriated.
Yeah, just like you can't.
So whether it's alcohol or anything, like even a prescribed painkiller, you're inebriated in a sense, and you can't be, can't be carrying a concealed weapon.
So I think it's still gonna apply.
Yeah. So I guess what you're saying is because you have a card, you can't even have the option.
Yes.
Just because you have the card.
Yeah. So you have to have one or the other. That was kind of the choice.
Not even if your arthritis or glaucoma is acting up.
Yeah. You're like, oh, sorry, you can't carry a gun.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so regardless.
But it's same like just driving a vehicle. You can't drive a vehicle on it either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're just gonna stay home, you're not. No point in concealing a weapon while you're chilling at home.
Yeah.
Just leave that right on the table.
So it's interesting. I am curious. How people? Yeah, I mean, what do you think? I think people.
I think
most people just do what they're doing.
Holster shopping is what I think.
Do some holster shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get a new piece.
I've been thinking about
one I can hide in my fanny pack.
I've got a fanny pack.
Yep.
You gonna put your gun in a fanny pack?
Why not?
That's the first place I think. First thing I think of somebody with a fanny pack is either a gum or a gun.
Or
either got some bubble gum or a pistol.
I'm gonna carry bubble gum and maybe some Skittles.
So I walked. Speaking of bubble gum, I walked by watermelon flavored at FedEx the other day, and I really contemplated buying some.
You should have though, because that's some of the best shit ever.
Watermelon bubblegum. Oh my gosh! Or hubba bubba.
No, that stuff that turns into rubber.
Turns the same.
Well, yeah, they all lose their flavor real quick, and then they all turn to rubber.
I haven't had like bubble gum in a long time. Used to blow some big bubbles.
Right?
So it smacked and blew up on your face, and you have to somehow find a way to unstick it from your face.
Oh, speaking of doing that, I don't know. I had this gum the other day. I think it was like mixed. It was one of those gum balls, but it was like on a cupcake or something.
you had a bubble gum.
Yeah, it was one of those hardball bubble gums. Yes,
okay.
And it was like on a cupcake of some kind, and.
Who's eating bubblegum cupcakes over here?
Oh, I eat some
you go to
best treats.
12-year-old birthday party?
These were special treats made for adults.
Oh, okay.
And the adults can have special things like this too. Okay,
it was
delicious.
I'm eating red vines again over here.
Yeah. So this cupcake was mighty good in all kinds of ways.
Okay.
So, anyways, the gum was the texture of it was off because it was in the frosting. So it did something. It messed with that texture of the gum. Anyways, I was about to eat something, so I go to spit this gum out, and I was like, I don't know, when you kind of mouth it to like make it ready to spit out, it touched the outside of my lips, which were dry. It was horrible. It spiderwebbed across my lips, and I was like, and I was about to order food at the drive-thru, so I'm like, trying to talk about, I had my mouth just spiderwebbed with this gum just spread out all over.
A mess.
I'm like, oh my god, this is embarrassing. So I'm trying to pull it, like, get it off my face, and I can't. And I'm like rubbing it, and I'm like, this is gonna be embarrassing. This is about to be the most embarrassing order ever. And I'm looking like a fool.
You're having adult cupcakes.
Well, with bubble gum on it.
I blame the cupcake actually more than the bubble gum. I think.
What was the frosting that changed the texture of that gum that just ruined everything in my? So I had to like rub it off my lips, which my lips ended up like swelling up from it, like the stickiness of it. I was like trying to peel it off. It was stuck on there good. It turned into some kind of glue.
You were a hot mess.
Yeah, all within a matter of seconds. Like, it happened fast. So fast.
Were you with anybody?
No, I was by
Okay.
myself. And I was like, oh my, I was about to panic.
I can't breathe.
And I was like, I can't spit it out again. It's all stuck. It's all over my
That's
face.
hilarious. That is hilarious.
So should we get into a story of a, what was this one? A UFO was, or some type of flying thing was happening.
Yes, this was on TMZ, all right?
Well, I actually saw it somewhere else before you pulled it up on TMZ.
So an American Airlines pilot called in to the FAA, and they're like, "Hey, there's something in the sky." So basically, let me kind of find real quick what the pilot said. So he called in and then said, "No, okay. So the plane's driving from Cincinnati to Phoenix, Arizona, and this happened in New Mexico, right? Roswell, right?
Right by
So,
there.
Let me find the first thing that he said."
So he says to him, he says,
So he sees something like fast moving, flying through the sky, and then so he calls in and says, "Do you have any targets up here?"
this is the pilot calling in.
Yes, and they said no. So he said, "I hate to say this, but it looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing, moving really fast and went right over the top of us."
So he's seeing with his eyes, but they're not spotting it on radar.
They're not seeing it on radar. So I'm going to play this.
Because that's what he's meaning by, do you see any targets?
Yeah, so I'm going to play
They
this.
shut that shit down.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he's in an airplane, so he can't. But so I'm gonna play this audio, and it's going to repeat. So you'll play, and then it'll repeat itself. So I'll play it.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us. Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the
Right over the top of us is what he's saying. So pretty interesting. So actually TMZ reached out to the FAA about this. Now I just played the video, or I just played the audio for you, right? And the FAA says this. Or actually, okay, this is what TMZ reported. They did update the story. They said, "Well, this is interesting. The FAA is refuting the pilot's sighting at the time in New Mexico, telling TMZ FAA air traffic controllers did not see any object in the area on their radar scopes."
So they're just confirming.
Yeah, so there's, yeah. So yeah, I guess they're saying they didn't see anything, but this pilot obviously did. You know, who knows if they're lying.
Pilots see all sorts of crazy stuff. The view from that cockpit is amazing. I want to sit in the cockpit while the plane's flying.
It is interesting, right? So I mean, so this pilot just calls it in like, "Hey, what's up there? What's going on?" And they're like, so FAA they basically just confirmed we didn't see anything. So you know, I don't think they're saying anything, you know, bad about the pilot, saying, "Oh, the pilot's tripping. He had some crazy adult cupcakes and doesn't know what he's seeing out there in this cockpit." But
That don't happen. That does not happen. There was fungus on that cupcake.
So basically, yeah, the FAA is like, we didn't see anything on our radar, so we don't know what the pilot saw. And he just said it looks like this long cylinder object moving really fast above us. Gosh, I'd like to interview that pilot.
You know what? So when I'm in the airport waiting for flights and stuff, I'll see pilots just hanging out waiting
Right.
board.
Yeah.
I think I should approach them all creepy, be like, "Hey, so you fly the plane, huh?" But then
You fly this plane out here?
But to ask them about what kind of crazy shit they've seen while flying.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I've never thought about. I've met a couple pilots, and I've never thought about asking them that.
That is pretty interesting.
If you're a
I have
pilot,
too, actually.
if you're a pilot and you have any crazy stories, please reach out to the Buko Boys.
Buko Boys at gmail.com.
But that would be pretty cool to see if a lot of pilots have had some crazy incidents that have seen some cool shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that one, pilot in California that saw this thing just basically hovering over the ocean, and then take off. just hovering inches over. It looked like a tic tac, you called it.
Oh yeah, it was like flying real fast over and then disappearing into the water.
Yeah,
and then coming back out.
And it would take off up into the sky really fast at a vertical pace, just straight vertically up in the air. So
say these aliens in this cylindrical thing that was flying, what if they saw this plane and they're like thinking, oh, look at these Neanderthals and their basic ways of flying.
That's probably what they're thinking.
Using airlift.
Yeah. Like we use magnets. I don't know what they use.
Yeah, we haven't figured. Maybe. Well, that's what's his name was trying to figure out. Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah. So
he's way smarter than I am.
Just another interesting story. The aliens are real.
Oh hell yeah! To think that we are the only things in existence that have this type of conscious power to do what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I mean, you think of just the human race in the last 10 years of technology, how much we've advanced in the last 10 years. I mean, I'm trying to think, were smartphones a thing 10 years ago? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, 10 years ago, yes.
Yeah, so, but...
I would say like 12 years ago is when smartphones were pretty much a thing. But right before that was like right when Blackberries were phasing out and Androids were becoming a thing and iPhones were starting to come out.
Right. So, how much we've advanced. And if this species has been around, maybe longer than us, who knows where they're from and how long, but they could easily do things. I mean, we're probably getting close to things like that. Oh, I just heard Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan's podcast again, and he's talking about creating, like, he thinks they can create, like, these floating type of cars. Like, these Teslas that can float. He's like, yeah, I think we can get them 6 feet up and be pretty safe if anyone fell out of 6 feet high. We'd be okay. And he was kind of talking with Joe about it, like how he thinks that he doesn't really want to really get into that as of now, but he's he's like basically open to the idea that it's a possibility for the future. We could be there.
Well, they've talked about the way magnet force, like, so these trains that float in magnets, those things zoom super fast.
Those bullet trains?
Yeah. Imagine if the roads were all magnetized like that. Because one thing that drives me crazy, when you're sitting at a red light and it turns green and the long waterfall effect until you can finally start moving again.
Right.
I've always thought, oh, you know how nice it would be is the moment that turns green, everyone just
at the same
all
time,
starts moving.
Same speed.
That would be in a perfect world of mine in my head. That would be so
great.
Right.
Yes.
Fuck traffic.
So anyway, interesting story, a recent story of I should say potential. It was a UFO sighting. Just don't know if it's alien or not.
But definitely UFO though.
Definitely
UFO.
And we've talked about it before. I have seen UFOs.
Same.
Are they alien? I don't know.
I'm
probably
guessing so.
At the speed that thing was going.
Yeah, what I saw was definitely out of this world.
Yes.
And then, so we do have a spooky story.
All right.
We do have a spooky story to tell. I'll just use the voice clips because...
Okay. Because you interviewed this person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I'll use the voice clips, and that way I don't have to tell the story that's already been told.
Yeah. So okay, everyone listening. So Dale's got this audio clip of one of our listeners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sent some audio clips, or you tell me the premise. What was it? You were interviewing this person, or what was happening?
Yeah, we were just talking about some scary stuff.
Okay.
And she told me the story, and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely using this on the episode.
All right. So and this is my first time hearing this as well. So how many audio clips do you have?
Well, it's one story, but it's in the sequence of like 6 or 7 clips.
Okay, you just ran out of time. Is that what happened?
Well, these are all like short, like 20 second, 30-second clips.
Oh, okay.
But, so it's not like a super long story or anything.
Is there any background you need to give us before?
No, background's given in the story.
All right.
Alright, here we go.
I'm super excited.
Let's see, maybe I need to
Hit the play button, maybe?
turn on the volume and the,
Snarf.
let's see. me to do here, everybody?
Come on, 12 years, you've had a smartphone. You still don't know how to work it?
Let's see. Oh, I'm trying to turn the speaker on so it's loud. It's not playing loud. Why isn't it playing loud? Ugh.
It's not connected to Bluetooth, is it?
No, it's not connected to Bluetooth. But it's playing through my speaker. There it goes. See? Can you hear that? Okay, I'll start this clip over again because it totally missed out.
Good for the mic.
Okay, there we go.
Alright, so when I lived in my apartment in Tampa, like before I got divorced and that, there was this man and his son that lived across the hall. And when I would come home, they would be sitting outside a lot on these lawn chairs. But like it was in the middle of like a breezeway or like a hallway. It wasn't like a porch. So I was always like, oh, that's weird. But they were always hanging out together. And then I kept seeing him outside. Like he would be outside at all hours of the day. Like morning time, nighttime, all hours of the day. Him and his son. And then one day there was just like hella ambulances and I think like a sheriff or fire chief guy showed up or somebody else. And they went into his apartment and shit. And I was on my back porch and they put him in the ambulance and like he was dead. It was weird because like I got to see him. But so then like 30 minutes, 45 minutes go by and his sister comes and she's coming to pick up his son and like get all the shit out of the apartment. And they literally packed everything within a few hours and then they got a U-Haul and all left. But before they left, I was standing outside with another neighbor, and the sister had asked if we had known of anything weird going on in the apartments, and we thought she was talking about like drug dealing or like shit like that, you know, like somebody, because we didn't know how he died. So I was like, what the fuck? No, there's nothing weird going on. Why? And so she was saying that for like 6 months before he died, he didn't ever want to be in his house, that he swore that there was something else living in his house, and him and his son were terrified. So it clicked why they were sitting outside all the time, in the morning, in the middle of the night, fucking all hours of the day. But the sister thinks that whatever was in the house killed him because I guess he ended up having a heart attack, but he was only like in his 40s maybe. But that was the same apartment complex when I would take a shower and be home alone, and the kids would be at school and my husband would be at work. I would come out of the shower and all the drawers in the kitchen would be open and all the cabinets would be open while the faucet would be running, or it would just be the faucet because I'd start feeling the water pressure like change, and when I get out the faucet would just be like running full blast in the sink. Just weird shit. So I would be surprised if there was shit, you know, just bouncing around from place to place, just hanging out.
So there you go.
Interesting.
Very, right?
Yeah, I mean, all the other part in the beginning for me, I was just like, okay, you know, they're hanging outside. Okay, now, it might be haunted, so he's kind of scared to go inside. But then her was telling her saying, I lived there too, and I'd come out of the shower, I'm home alone, and everything was wide open. Like that.
Yeah.
That'd be terrifying. Like, I mean, first of all, you maybe think it's someone in my house trying to rob me, right? I mean, maybe that's what the first thing that come to your mind. And then
Yeah, somebody's in the house doing mischief.
Yeah. No, just that, you know, maybe just ransacking through your house or just flipping open everything looking for something. But you're in an apartment, right? So it's not like you've got probably a ton of stuff hiding in cupboards. So, you know, at some point it just, I'm totally putting words in her mouth that she just maybe comes out of the shower and just thinks someone's just ransacked through her apartment, and then kind of hits her like, wait a minute, no one's been in here.
I mean, yeah, that would be the first thing. First thing you think of is somebody did
in
this.
here, yeah.
But then you come to terms that, wait a minute, there's nobody could have came in here. Doors are locked, everything's closed, nothing's changed. All of a sudden, faucet's on.
Did she say how many times that's happened to her?
She didn't say how many times, but it sounds like it was frequent.
Yeah, it sounded like it was definitely more than once.
Every time she was home alone.
Man.
And what's crazy is, and I bet you anything it would happen a lot during the daytime, because for me, a lot of things would happen like that just during the daytime.
When you're home alone.
Yeah, when I was home alone, middle of the day, crazy shit.
Interesting.
But I don't know what do you think? Oh, definitely something real bad living in that
apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not, I wouldn't say living, but residing in.
Yeah.
That's some
maybe
bad,
more
bad
than
shit.
maybe more than a couple things.
Yeah. Maybe a lot of bad things.
Huh.
But makes you wonder how bad it was, and if anything is happening to anybody else that's living in that after moving into there.
Do you think that they killed that gentleman and any evil spirits?
I think it's hard to say. Maybe either he did it to himself because he.
She's had a heart attack.
Oh yeah, heart attack. That's
Yeah.
right. It could definitely could have played some factors to his health.
I wonder. Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard of things like I don't know. They've done. It's hard to say that where spirits can actually really mess up your organs.
Okay.
So makes you wonder if they did something there. I don't know how bad it was.
To the ticker?
Or maybe they if you're scared the shit out of them, scared them to death. What if they did something that scared them to death? That's would be ruled as a heart attack maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm trying to think now, how much of a hand did this spirit have in his death? Maybe none, maybe, or maybe
the coincidence of this person saying how he was afraid to be in the house.
Yeah, but at some point he goes in and sleeps,
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I don't know why you don't leave. I mean, I know you're probably under a lease or something, but...
Yeah, you probably have no money to move anywhere else.
Exactly.
Put everything you had in that down payment and lease, and you're just kind of stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing you're moving into a haunted ass apartment.
Right.
That's a risk you take.
Yeah. You move somewhere where a lot of people have lived before.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And you don't know who's lived in these places before you. Some bad shit could have been going
And why
on.
the apartment was available.
Why. Yeah, imagine the person moving in right after this guy. They're not going to know someone just died in there.
Yeah. You know what that stain's all about.
Yeah. Stains over there. You see them stains? That's from me.
Oh, that's a creepy one. Like, you got really creepy once you talk about her coming out of the shower and seeing everything open and the faucet full blast.
Yeah,
that's another.
Especially being able to feel that turn on.
Yeah.
And that seems to be something like spirits like. Well, I mean, because it's very visual. I guess when the faucets turn on and lights turn on and off, it's very visual. So I guess it is a good way to get attention for them. It is very, very strange. And she actually sent me a couple other smaller stories afterwards.
More.
But this was just
Text.
Yeah. She said that she also would because of something that happened to her, she would sleep with a blanket covering her ears or a hoodie. But that was because I guess one time while I don't know, she was sleeping. There's something screamed bloody murder in her ear one night.
Wow.
And I guess that freaked her out to where she covers her ears when she sleeps now. And let's see. This was a creepy one. So she got her daughter out of the bath when she was like around 3 years old. She was sitting on her lap afterwards and she was brushing her daughter's hair. And her daughter was just staring at the ceiling, and she asked what that lady was doing. And she asked, "What do you mean?" And she said, "She's using her neck to hang onto that rope."
Wow.
And she was like, "Wait a minute, that's weird." And then she ends up telling her neighbor about that. And because the neighbor, I guess she said the neighbor had lived there forever. And then the neighbor said, "Yeah, there was a lady that lived there that killed herself."
Did she hang herself then?
I don't know if she hung herself. She didn't say that. That's all. That was the story. That's all she said in that story. Okay, this is another one with her daughter. So maybe her daughter has some type of abilities because her daughter seems to be seeing some spirits at a young age. So this is another story. She goes, when I moved to St. Augustine, we lived with my husband's parents and his mom's husband's mother. Her husband had died a year before. We were getting ready to eat dinner, and my daughter asked why we weren't getting a plate for Ed. That was the name of her dead husband.
Huh.
She said she talks to him in the hallway when she goes to the bathroom. And this was when she was around 4 or 5 years old.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Ah, okay. Or anything attached to her.
I don't know if it's attached to her.
Okay.
Because it just seems like she's seen random.
Or she's just moving in places that.
Well, I mean, this is Florida. Florida's been around for a long. St. Augustine is like the first city in America.
Okay, interesting.
A lot of history back there.
Hmm.
And I mean, and that's like some of the oldest stuff here in America. So that's just over 200 years old, which isn't that old.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff has happened since then. A lot of craziness.
Okay. Great stories. Thanks for sharing.
But
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
And you guys, again, if you have any cool stories, scary stories, or any topics you'd like us to talk about, remember, send those over to us, bukoboys@gmail.com.
Well, should we wrap it up for an episode?
Yes, thank you guys so much again.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Peace out.